Okay. This is avocado oil versus coconut oil. And if you watch the last video, you can see where I'm coming from about the differences based on what I was talking about morning glory seeds, which do have actually a known toxicity. But in the case of coconut, I don't, there's no, nope. Okay, clearly the push for avocado oil is on. And I had to scroll through about 50 all how to make avocado oil at home. The most expensive possible way. And it's all cold pressed, no seed. But see, what I know about avocado oil is I asked the Google AI the specific question: does avocado oil contain oil from the seed? And the AI generative said yes, they do. They have to specify, and I finally got, after 100 videos, I ran into one weird one from some small nut oil making business in Compton, California, which has been gentrified. It's no longer gangsta. Straight out of Compton, it doesn't really exist anymore. It's like condos now, bro. See, this is the problem. It's all about, is it cold pressed, just avocado meat without any skin? I started off to watch a 30-minute, and all they were doing is showing at first about all the wonderful products you can make from avocados. Kenya, Uganda are getting this stuff big time. So I don't have any problems with the meat of the avocado. It's all tests out great. It's a question of seed and the skin. And the first time I got to a short video showing how they do an expeller process with high speed of essentially pushing out the meat and then separation is kind of from the oil, or they don't really show all of that. They're not showing if there's any. And still not calling it cold pressed, because that's the technical. But in cold pressing, they're not showing that. I went through more than 100 something videos going, okay, no, that's just going, that's a one way. Google is burying me in the mountain of pro avocado shit when the Google AI generative or whatever has already told me that, yeah, some avocados oil contains the seed oil. And all they're trying to show me is how they're carefully, except to the one that got to where they clearly were putting the whole avocados into a high velocity it'd be a centripetal, yeah, kind of like a centrifuge, but they're expelling it outwards. Anyway, they're like a centrifuge. And you got little holes, I guess, and stuff. And the question is, how much of that is being extracted from the skin, and they're not showing that, or whether or not it doesn't really. There's this thing called the thermo something or whatever, so it's not cold pressed. It's an expeller produced thing, which might include the oil from the seed. I had to go through all them videos of how great it is and how easy it is to make it home. It's all how to make it at home, how to make it at home, how to make it. I was looking after the industrial shit when the Google AI generative has already told me the answer to my question, which is it's turning out to be right. When I asked, is sugarcane been genetically modified? Yep. Apparently mostly in Indonesia or something for some kind of reason. And apparently it may be happening in this country to make it Roundup ready. That's so there's so little that you can't find what you're not looking for. Okay, I don't want to really experiment with avocado oil. I'm afraid I'm going to get something that isn't. It has to be marked, even cold pressed. I've already explained it doesn't. And the Google AI is telling me that it does contain seed oil, not just the meat. It contains although it's clearly most of it's coming from the meat. One of the first videos I posted up on Community Post, it shows a guy doing a crude in-lab test of what would be cold-pressed avocado seed oil. It doesn't generate much. But then again, he isn't doing a very good job of it. If you notice, it's called the sock test, where he grinds it up in a blender, puts it in a piece of fabric, and just hammers it. And it produces a few drops of oil on the bench. They're still not, all I'm seeing is the pro avocado shit when the Google itself has already told me the answer to my question. And then them skins, I've told you about the skins of anything. Is I'm so tired of shit. One reason that I have, based on my own self-experiment, to think that coconut oil is very low in toxicity is these are the reasons. I'm going to sum this up and try to make it under about a 7 or 8 minute. The coconut meat and coconut oil and coconut water and coconut milk, whatever you want to call it, coconut cream, is on the very center of a huge, woody, pulpy, fibrous husk, which contains an absolute wooden shell. It has 3 tiny little breathing kind of membranes. We call them something here. It's one of the few seeds that can just float upon the ocean and go anywhere. And like other seeds, like cannabis, like the Egyptians were trying to, they actually had to keep coming back over here to get tobacco and coca leaf and stuff like that, because getting the seeds, tobacco seeds and coca seeds back to Egypt was just impossible, because they will rot out in the ocean atmosphere and the salinity of it. And they hadn't figured out what the English later did, which is you've got to bring the whole breadfruit plant with you to your glass houses, etc. So based upon the woody protection, say of a walnut or a pecan or a coconut, that tends to tell me in general that what's inside is less toxic. The harder and more difficult for the shell to penetrate and stuff, whereas the avocado has a thin skin, and almost any animal that doesn't have hands and stuff can take it, can pick it up off the ground. Once it falls, it's ripe. It's got to be, they get a bite or two of it and stuff like that, and they kind of disperse the, actually the Hass avocado always has to be grown from grass. Hass is not like a seed variety. If you buy a Hass avocado and try to sprout it and grow it, it won't be a Hass avocado when you grow it. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah, don't bother trying to grow Hass avocados from scratch. I knew that a long time ago when I started investigating avocados. I love avocados. I thoroughly endorse avocado meat. I eat avocado meat. It doesn't contain, it has a lot of beneficial oils, nutrients, supposed to be in the complete analysis. As I recall, there was serotonin in it. 5-hydroxytryptophan, I think, was in it. And so I have no problems with it. It's the skin in that seed that I think that there's problems with. So all I've gotten so far from Google is all the pro avocado stuff, while Google itself admits that, yeah, unless it specifically claims to be, but then again, they're showing me all these home things where the skin's not involved, and yet the first one I come upon that's using supposed to be a cold, but it goes through a thermo something bath, or and goes into a cylinder that spins it at high speed, that's clearly throwing it out through little holes or something as it accelerates. You can see it kind of coming out. They're not showing you the whole process. That would still might be called cold process, But is any of the seed oil getting into that oil that's guaranteed non-GMO, kosher, all this other stuff? Google AI says it is. So after going through 120, 140 videos, I don't have any definitive video proof yet and don't want to look anymore and stuff. And I really considered, just due to the characteristics of the coconut and stuff, the fibrousness, even the, I hate eating coconut because it's mostly fiber. It really is. And that's going to be cold pressed too. And it's actually clearly probably much easier to separate coconut meat and stuff from, because really that meat is the very heart, is the seed itself. It's like probably one of the few seed oils that I find acceptable. And because of the, look at the vast differences between that giant woody coconut husk and an absolute wooden shell that only has those little, I think 3 little kind of water intake, which still has to be filtered through all that wood in case it's decides to take on some oxygen, or the oxygen still has to make it through the husk. You get my drift. It's a very well protected seed. Why? Because maybe the insides are so edible and so non-toxic and stuff. And it has to also be resistant to salt water. Although it can live right next to salt water, actually lean right over it, but that water's being filtered through that sand it's growing in. So that's essentially, in around 10 minutes or so, and I already went 12. That's why I'm still worried about avocado oil, is because I can't get a straight, I get 2 answers from Google. I get a straight answer from the Google AI generative or whatever that says that, yeah, it includes oil from the seed. I've seen it produced in one of that little, and they're hiding it. They're hiding, their Google's clearly has a pro-avocado industry presentation. And so I don't even know to trust it if it's properly labeled cold pressed avocado oil. It should also be from the meat only. And nowhere do I see, outside of the, very tedious hand labor in Africa and other, think about all that avocado stuff, avocado dip and stuff. How do they get that out of there? You see it, all kind of preparations down and stuff. It's a lot of labor in that. That's why you're paying top dollar for it. And to produce that much oil from, I'm not very trusting of it. I'm not trusting of labeling. I'm not trusting sea salt, when probably all it comes, it's from sea salt. Everything, including my own tests on coconut oil, coconut cream, and coconut water. Actually, when it's coconut milk and stuff, I'm really not sure that it always comes out, but coconut water does have a known laxative effect. Not sure why. There's no analysis readily available without me spending all day trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to show you a common sense approach to, because some of the most toxic seeds are actually really don't have a woody husk on them or anything and stuff. I think walnut oil is probably fine. The walnut husk is obviously very toxic. You can use it in like the pecan hull or husk. You can use it to dye your hair brown or Grecian formula or whatever. It's actually good for that. But seeds that don't have much of like a woody protection and stuff like that, or real hard shell and stuff. Actually, some of it are just like the canola, rapeseed oil. It's kind of a soft. It really has almost, and they even use benzene, hexane, or whatever in the separation. All they do the expeller. They do all the. It's hard to call. I'm just trying to operate a lot on the common sense of how protected is the seed. because it appears to me, from all my experience, that the more protected that a seed is, they tend to be larger on it, because the more likely that the oil inside is going to be less toxic, is just my conclusion after decades of studying this shit. That's it. Avocado oil versus coconut oil. I would buy the coconut oil that's up here, but I prefer the flavor of animal fats in my stews. I just don't have a use for it yet. The avocado oil I'm still iffy on, because to get a specific label, guarantee me it's strictly from the meat, no, there's no skin nor seed oil in it. Nobody's doing that. And who's to say they're not taking the good cold press, it's all, and then mixing in some of the junk with it? The adulteration of olive oil is well known by any food chemist on this planet. It's been going on since the 30s, since soy nut oil, air quotes, came on the global market. I'm not very trusting. They're poisoning the American population to death with this frankenfood shit. And I had medical experts come up here this morning and try to give me what they thought was acceptable. And I'm saying no, because even the Google AI generative answer to my specific question, I know how to state a question properly, tells me that it is, but then Google itself is hiding any kind of videos, YouTube or otherwise, from my site. I'm there like the gay French king, Jerry Seinfeld, scrolling through all these videos and looking for one that isn't homemade or the easy to, cold. It's not there. I know they might make me go through 1,000 unless I go back out and rephrase my question for that specific video, and then it might get hinky with me. This ain't the first time I've done this sort of thing. This ain't my first rodeo. When all you get is the positive stuff, that's really not, where they carefully hand peeling, they're showing how they make all the cuts and they gently take off the skin, which is really nasty. You ever get a little bit of that avocado skin on with your avocado, and even the way they're scooping it out, they're leaving a lot of it on the videos. They're leaving a lot of the meat on the inside of it, when those expellers and shit, presses, are going to be catching that bit of nasty skin. Look at it. Is there any kind of insect or animal damage or on those skins? No. You say occasionally see some scarring on them because they're called aguacates, from an Indian word that meant testicles. Avocados grow in pairs like testicles. They bang up against each other in the wind, creating scars on the skin. I don't really see any insect damage. So that's it, I'm finished. Even the cashew, which has kind of a woody thing coming out of it, completely, let's not get even started on cashews. So if you give me the choice between avocado oil and coconut oil, I've just told you why, that I will consume, and the coconut oil is testing out to be gut friendly to a gut that's very sensitive to toxins. I'll see you guys later. That's long enough.